All right, so the third page of the review is solving by hand with a matrix. And so it's always going to be they'll be easier than just two variable ones that you have to do by hand. So when we do it by hand, remember, we want to write it so that our goal, at least, is that we want it to look like this: 1, 0, 0, 1, and then our X solution and our Y solution. So that's that's our goal. We want the identity matrix on the left, and we want solutions on the right. So if I write my matrix in exactly the way it looks, my goal again is I want that 1 in that first position. So I'm hoping that you can kind of see, like, if I took this bottom row and divided it by -3 and then put it in the top, like I flip my rows around, then I'm going to get that 1 where I want it. So if I go -3 divided by -3 and I write my answer on top, 3 divided by -3 is -1, answer on top. 3 divided by -3 is -1, answer on top. And then my other line is just going to go down to the bottom. So I'm just flip-flopping the rows and dividing by -3 at the same time. So my next goal then is I want this little guy here, I want him to become a 0. And so for him to become a 0, I need there to be a 6 on the top so that when I add them together, I get 0. So I'm going to take the top row and multiply by 6. So I'm going to go 6. 6 times -1 is -6. 6 times -1 is -6. And the bottom stays the same because I haven't done anything with it. And now what I want to do is I want to add those two rows together, and I want my answer on the bottom. So I'm going to go 6 plus -6 is 0, which is what I wanted. -6 plus 5 is -1. -6 plus 10 is +4. And the top row is going to go back to what I had before I multiplied by 6. So back to the blue matrix top row. So I'm going to go 1, -1, -1. All right, so from here, our next goal is we want this term to become a positive 1. And the best way for it to become a positive 1 is if I either multiply by -1 or divide by -1. Whatever you're saying in your head is fine. So 1, -1, -1, we did nothing to the top. Bottom, -1 times 0 is 0. -1 times -1 is 1. 4 times -1 is -4. If you said divide by -1, I still get the same thing. So it doesn't matter which one you choose. And then from here, we've got 1, 0, 1, which is good. That means we want this term right here to turn into a 0. And the best way to do that is to add the two rows together and put your answer on top. So I'm going to go 1 plus 0, 1, -1 plus 1, 0, -1 plus -4, -5. Bottom goes back to what it was before. And so then my solution is going to be -5, -4. And so that's where those two lines would cross. All right, when I look at 16, if I was going to do a matrix, now I probably wouldn't do a matrix in normal world, but with this one, I'm not sure what that is either. So let's just do it. This will be a nice one. We're going to go 0, 2, 2, because there's not an X, and then 1, 5, 8. And again, notice your goal, you want the 1 on top and the 0 on the bottom. So what I would do is probably flip these two rows. And so I'm going to go 1, 5, 8. And then while we're at it, let's also divide the top row by 2. So 0 divided by 2 is 0. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And so now notice that we've got the 1, the 0, and the 1 where we want it. The only thing I have to do is I need to get this 5 to become a 0. And so what I need is I need a -5 underneath it so that I can go 5 plus -5 to get 0. So we're going to take the bottom row and multiply by -5. So we have 1, 5, 8, 0, -5, -5. And then we're going to add and put our answer on top. So 1 plus 0 is 1. 5 plus -5 is 0, which is what I was headed for. 8 plus -5 is 3. And then the bottom goes back to what I had before I multiplied by -5. And so then my solution is going to be 3, 1. All right. So 17 and 18 you get to use a calculator for. Okay. And so when you can use a calculator, that's great, but I still would like to see what you're putting into your calculator, like what matrix. So when I get to that point, like on the test, this is what I should be seeing. I should be seeing -5, -3, 1, and then you don't have a y on this top one, so it's going to be a 0, a 2, a -2, and then your z is going to be a 3, a 2, a 5, and then your solutions are 23, -25, 7. So I should be seeing this on your paper as well as your solution. And that just helps me so that I can see that is it a major thing, like you have no idea what you're doing, or did you just forget to put the 0 in the right spot? All right. So then I'm going to go to my calculator and I'm going to clear this out. So I'm going to go second x -1 and I'm going to edit and I'm going to put this in as a 3 by 4. All right, and then we put our values in. So we've got -5, and then we have 0. I don't know if we can, oh, nope, you guys can't see that. Then you have 3 and -23. And then the next row is going to be -3, 2, 5, and -25. And then the bottom row is 1, -2, 5, and 7. Okay, so we're putting our matrix in. We're going to go second quit to get out of there. And then remember, we do second x -1. We're going to go over to math, and we're going to go all the way down to letter B, which is the RREF. So row reduction echelon form. Okay, so we're going to do this, and we're going to go second x -1. We're going to push enter to put the A matrix in, enter again, and then our answer is going to be 4, -4, -1. So our solution is 4, -4, -1. All right, so let's look at 18. Same idea. I do want to see the matrix. So you've got 6, 1, -2, -25. You have 0 because you don't have an x term, -4, -2, 18, -2, 4, 6, -8. And again, when we go to put that put that matrix in, we're going to go second x -1 over to edit, enter, and then we already have our 3 by 4 in there. So if not, we can put it in again. So 3 by 4, and then we put our points in. So we've got 6, 1, -2, -25. Second row, 0, -4, -2, 18. And you guys be really, really careful. Like if you're missing one of your variables, make sure you're putting it in the right position, the 0, because if you put it in the wrong position, then it's going to throw your problem off. So -8. Okay, so everything's in. We're going to go second quit. We go second x -1. We go over to math, and we go all the way down to B. Whoops, to B. You push enter, and then second x -1, enter, enter one more time, and notice on the diagonal you've got the ones, and so we've got -3, -5, 1. So -3, -5, 1 is your solution. Oops, that's kind of a crazy box. All right, so that is page 2 or page 3, and then we'll just stop there and I'll do one more video.